What is up, you guys? Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be reviewing the fragrance and body oil by Victoria Beckham Beauty in the scent Portofino 97. I did a poll not so long ago asking which review or video concept you wanted to see first, and you guys definitely said I want to hear about the body oil and the fragrance, and I have some thoughts on the fragrance, on the body oil, and the inspiration behind it, and I just wanted to do a dedicated video on it. The video is definitely getting priority status. Luckily I was able to try a bit of the body oil, and actually I have tried the fragrance before because I've had ample amount of time with my previous sample of the fragrance to tell you a little bit about how I feel about the fragrance, if it will enter in my collection as a full size, and the inspiration behind it. Last year, Victoria Beckham Beauty, she launched 3 fragrances. I don't like blind buying at all. I don't think I'll ever want to do it again. Unless it's like really necessary, in the sense of like, I really want to try fragrance and I cannot get a sample anywhere. But I did a blind buy on Sweet 302. This is sort of like a tobacco black currant sweetness tobacco type of feel. It's very sweet and I do really enjoy it. But if I could go back and tell myself a little bit about the other fragrances in the collection, I think I would much more prefer the Portofino 97. Now let's first get into the fragrance inspiration of Portofino 97. It's based on a very romantic holiday between Victoria Beckham and David Beckham. She goes a little bit into detail on, like, you know, the sheets, the romance, and you're talking a summer fragrance. She's definitely describing an experience that's very summery and fresh, and like the heat and everything, and just very romantic. So the top notes of this fragrance are bergamot and black pepper. It's coming in quite strong. I would actually say it's coming in very sweet. I think with both of this fragrance and the Sweet 302, both of them can kind of like overtake you if you spray too much. It can be a little bit too much. Since I am getting into fragrances, like, this is kind of my beginning year, I don't know if I'm overly sensitive about this, but if I overspray with either one of these two, I can get a headache. So by experience, I was taught to kind of not go so heavy-handed in this one. The mid notes are C notes, amber, and incense. The nice thing about this mid notes is we're going in more of a fresh direction. So going from that sweetness, kind of going into the C notes, at least I definitely smell the C notes in this, giving you that sort of freshness and that more summery, like airy feel, and not much of a heavy feel. And then the base notes is kind of where it's at for me. It's musk, vetiver, and patchouli. As both of these, they started quite sweet. Combining it with something like a vetiver or a tobacco, it's making it a little bit more unisex. Which I personally really enjoy. So that was the inspiration behind this fragrance. Those are the top notes and the base notes and the middle notes. Both of these have a very moderate projection. I think a good to moderate projection of about 6 hours max, which I do think is decent, but it's nice if you can extend the longevity of a fragrance, of course, especially if it's a fragrance that you really enjoy. Now, then she came out with a body oil, shimmery body oil, which totally makes sense in my opinion, because this is the fragrance you're going to pick up for the summertime. So the fact that you're using this fragrance to also promote a summer type of product like a shimmery body oil, I just think it totally makes sense. It's also the fragrance I was most excited to get a body oil from, because this fragrance speaks to me the most. Now, the 50 ml version of the fragrances comes in this flask container, and you can't really see through it, which is unfortunate. I kind of like being able to see through it, and it has a spray mister. The body oil actually comes in the same similar flask system, but you can see through it like it's actually glass. But next to each other, so imagine having a collection, it actually makes sense that they are similar. This one does not have a spray mister. This one has, let me open it up. In the beginning, it took me quite some time to open this up, and I kind of hated it. I also kind of felt like, is this the way you're supposed to open it? But later on I realized I actually quite like it. It is a body oil. It's an oil, you know? So you want to be able to close this shut properly because you don't want it to leak anywhere. So it's a little bit hard to open, but you know, I think it's with reason. The body oil in itself, if we're looking into the flask, you see it's separated. It didn't come separated when I first got it. So you do have to shake it to gotta get that magic. But here you see that oil and shimmer particle separation. And once you start shaking it, you're gonna get that beautiful oil shimmering effect. This is definitely Instagrammable, you know what I mean? Like Instagrammable worthy. Not to harp a little bit about the packaging and the way that these things are packaged, because that's not what this video is all about, but sometimes the devil is in the details. The fragrance you're gonna get in a very beautiful book-like packet. So I actually commented on this being a beautiful experience. So this is where the fragrance flask system was at, and you got a little like pamphlet note. I really enjoyed that, especially because the fragrance is 200 euros for the 50 ml version. This one is almost half the price, but you're not going to get a book-like system. You're just going to get a normal cardboard type of situation. Now, of course, who cares, right? The way that this is packaged, because it's about the product in itself. But like I said, sometimes the devil's in the details when it comes to these luxury purchases. If you want to gift this to someone as a present, then it's not going to be presented the same way as a fragrance, but it's also not going to be the same price point. Pause if you want to see the ingredient list, but some things you need to note is it's designed in France, it's cruelty-free. This is a clean beauty brand, so check out the website if you want to see what their core values are regarding clean beauty, and has a 12-month shelf life. And just like my Sweet 302, I got the 50 ml version. Currently, there's no super size or larger version than this one on the website, but you can get the fragrances in a larger size version. So this is the smallest bottle of the fragrance. Now, we've talked a little bit about the fragrance in itself. We've talked about the packaging, the component. Let's just start applying this. So I open up the cap and you're gonna get this open lid. There's no sprayer or anything. I did already shake it, and you're gonna get that beautiful body oil shimmer. I'm not a body oil user since I have quite oily skin. I'm always afraid that a body oil will accentuate that. The nice thing about this is, and let me apply a little bit on my hand. The nice thing about this is it's very watery. Yeah, it's definitely an oil, and you can definitely see the shimmer particles. But the nice thing about this is it's not one to soak up into my clothing, and I have been quite impressed by this. Another nice thing is that overall, you're not going to see a lot of those shimmer particles, but when the sun catches the light perfectly, and my camera has a hard time catching the light, right? But when the sun catches the light, you can see a lot of these particles just floating and dancing around your body. So for the summertime, or maybe like for a night out, this is quite a nice product. Another great and nice thing about this is it smells like Portofino 97, guys. Like, it's really the same notes, a similar experience, but a much more diffused and soft version of the fragrance. So it doesn't matter how much I apply it, I'm not gonna get that instant headache if I over apply with this product. I can apply as much as I want, and I'm just gonna get that like almost like a warm, fresh smell of that Portofino 97. It starts out sweet, just like in the fragrance, and it does dry down a bit to a more unisex type of musky situation. I really enjoy this fragrance, and I am considering getting the fragrance in itself for my collection. I like it a bit better than Sweet 302, but I'm keeping Sweet 302 as well because I feel like in the winter time, that's a really nice one to go with. But this as a summer fragrance, it's giving me a little bit of body care. You do see that my body is kind of glowed up, but you're not going to get the shimmer particles unless you're going to go into the sunlight, which you see in the demo. Of course, one thing you're going to do with a product like this is fragrance layering, because like I said, what you want is you want more projection of your fragrance. If you like a fragrance, you want to make sure that it lasts as long on your skin as possible. You don't constantly want to reapply. And the nice thing about layering these, it actually does improve the projection of the fragrance. So normally I would have about I want to say a 5 to 6 hour wear time on this one. When I apply this fragrance on top, I think it improves the wear time for the entire day. It definitely is softer at the end of the day. Realistically, I would say it adds about 2 hours of proper projection wear time, but you can still kind of smell it around your body for the entire day. So I am incredibly happy with the layering that this does. I'm incredibly happy with the experience. So the customer for this one, you have a few customers that could potentially like a body oil like this. So first off, if you aren't into shimmer particles in your body oil, then this is not for you. It's just as simple as that. This is going to be a shimmery product. So even though you're not going to catch the shimmers on my body right now, When you go into the sunlight, you are gonna get the shimmering particles. But if you are someone that likes the Portofino 97, but you also are quite sensitive to fragrances, you might like this one because it's a much softer experience than the fragrance in itself. This one kind of has the same story, it has the same notes, but it's a soft version of the fragrance, which I really enjoy. Another reason why you would get something like this is if you are looking for a good body oil. I'm not a body oil person. I don't like to show a lot of skin. I'm actually not that comfortable with my skin, if I can be completely honest with you guys. But if you are looking for a body oil, I quite like the dry down on this one. I still feel a little bit of oiliness, but at some point it does seep into the skin and I don't feel like it's staining my clothes. So I really enjoyed the body oil aspect of this, and I never expected to like a body oil. So I really enjoy it. I also enjoy the shimmer particles. I think it's great for the summer, and I enjoy being able to fragrance layering it. So the third customer that might like this is if you like the fragrance Portofino 97, but you don't like the projection on it. You want the projection to last longer. This is a great way to layer, to start fragrance layering to make sure that your projection lasts all day long. Is it expensive? Yes, of course it is. Victoria Beckham Beauty is a luxury beauty house. It's definitely in there on the luxury pricing, but it is a beautiful product nonetheless. And it's definitely for the Victoria Beckham Beauty fragrance lovers. Truth be told, I don't have anything more to say. I've demoed the product. I hope the B-roll is kind of helpful for you guys to kind of see, you know, how the product looks on the skin and how it performs. I think it does exactly what you want it to do, which is, you know, increase your projection. I think it's all about the fragrance laying for me. That's where this product shines. I'm gonna link everything down below. I'm also gonna link everything down below of what is on my face. I did a full face of Victoria Beckham Beauty, and I don't know, I'm like really feeling myself. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please thumbs it up. I'm also gonna make a fragrance playlist where I'm just gonna put all my fragrance reviews together. So also make sure to look at that and maybe subscribe to the fragrance playlist. If you like Victoria Beckham Beauty, you're new here, and you want to see a little bit more Victoria Beckham Beauty content, check out all of my Victoria Beckham Beauty videos. I've tried literally everything except for the serum. I think that's the only thing I've never tried, but it would be nice to be able to nerd out and connect in the comment sections about this brand if you're into it as well. I hope everybody has a beautiful day, because this summer in the Netherlands has been terrible. It's been rain. It's only been rain. And I hope you guys have a good soccer season. All the Dutchies out here, I did watch the Turkey and Netherlands match, and yes, I'm very proud of the team. So a little round of applause. But before I go into a whole soccer tangent, I want to thank you guys all so much for watching. I loved hanging out with you guys. If you also liked hanging out with me, please make sure to subscribe to my channel. And of course, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!